In 2019, I randomly stopped and caught a fish on a nice wooded piece of shorefront. Little did I know, I'd buy this very same property in 2023. And every lakeside video I've made up to this point has been full of my dreams for this very moment.
Buy a lake house here so I could just be here all the time. I'd probably, if I owned a lake house here, I'd become really lazy. Or maybe I'd make a YouTube video every day and everybody would be bored because it would just be me here playing in the water and fishing. I have always wanted to live on a river or a place with a river or a stream or a lake.
So now that I have the lake property, I gotta figure out what to do with it.
Tiny homes are the next big thing.
And I've wanted to build myself one ever since I heard John say that in season 1 of Tiny House Nation.
So I came up with some designs of a sugar shack tiny house, did some drawings. We're gonna cut some trees, clear some trees, and then in a couple minutes, the wood's gonna get here and we're gonna build this little tiny house sugar shack. And guess what? We're building it off grid because we don't have any grid power here. So we're gonna do it all with the Jackery Power Pack, our sponsor for today's video. And more specifically, the 2000 Explorer from Jackery. We used, I think 1, 2, 3 different Jackeries during the build of this tiny house. This is the tiny house movie, which is the complete construction that took over a year. You'll see that as it goes on, like we started out with the 3000 and then we went to the 2000, which has expanded batteries, and that's what's in there now. And I've been using for almost a year, and it's so awesome. And this one has been on our most recent adventures with us. This is their newest version of the 2000, you know, the Explorer, which can do all the stuff that you'll see the rest of the ones doing in this video, but it is slightly more compact, self-contained unit with all kinds of awesome outlets on it. So portable, easy to use, super powerful. It's a no-brainer for me and it should be for you. Check it out, Jackery, linked in the description below, and watch the rest of this movie version of the tiny house where we finish and build an entire tiny house with just the power from the sun that Jackery turns into electricity for our off-grid tiny house adventure. Oh yeah, and Jackery is doing a super duper Black Friday. They always do that, so if you've been waiting to pull your trigger on the Jackery thing, save a lot of savings on your Jackery adventure. All right, Erin's still piling up the stuff we trimmed. This is where she's gonna be. But this guy's gotta go, it's dead. Maybe this poplar is dead too, so we'll probably take that down. All right, picture it right here. I'll put my drawing right here. We got the house and the porch. And she is looking good right there. So I guess we're ready to drop some trees, huh? Yep. Just where I was aiming, not where the cameras are. We got our 2 logs for the bottom of the house. Now we just gotta flatten them up. I got my chainsaw mill. Would you look at that? That'll do. $3,437. Look at that nice straight cut. Looks good. That turned out really good. All right, good day's work, man. We did pretty good. Would like to have gotten more done, but we did good. And tomorrow morning, we can put her together. Back down here for day 2. We got the windows. Windows cost $2,700, but I got quite a few windows and doors. I really want it to be nice and light and airy, and we got the windows to go up in the Coupla. Take some measurements so I can apply for my driveway permit. The rest of that, which I've been working on as well, on top of everything, because that might go in next week, have a driveway in here if that all goes through too.
Once the oak was all cleaned up, we moved our skids into place so we were ready to build as soon as we have that permit, and then it was just a matter of moving the plywood and other materials over there as well. Many hands make light work, and it was kind of sunny out, so it felt pretty good, and the Jackery managed to recharge to full power during that time. You might have noticed in the drawings for the tiny house sugar shack that the siding was black, and that's because we're gonna burn it. It's an ancient Japanese method called Yakisugi. By burning the outside of the wood, it preserves it and protects it from the elements better than any kind of stain. In fact, there's temples in Japan that are over 1,000 years old, and they're perfectly preserved outside of the fact that they're burnt on the outside. And this burnt black look for a finish looks better than any stain as far as I'm concerned.
You know, I think it's starting some ground fire there. Might have to just burn the grass first and start with that and clean it up. It's like the worst time of the year for this kind of thing. It's like springy and dry, it's wet, and then all of a sudden it's so dry. You gotta be real careful in the spring. Bureaucracy. Town office meeting did not go well. They really seemed really nice. It's not them. Bureaucracy. You know, because of the property being at a certain slope and trying to protect the lake from erosion, things like that, you need planning board permission. I went before the planning board, pitched my idea. That's me here doing that.
In normal circumstances, this lot is unbuildable. Our ordinance has this special exemption one time for a building up to 1,500 square feet. This exemption is a one-time deal.
They said if that was what I chose to do, the tiny house, then that would be all I'd ever be allowed to do, ever. Even if I moved the tiny house away, I could never build something else ever again, ever on my piece of property. Like, how much does that even make sense? And after about 15 minutes of them pitching ideas.
What if he did build it on a trailer? That he would need a permit at all for that.
That's right, he would not.
So, I went on Facebook Marketplace, and we got a trailer. We're building a tiny house on a trailer. If it's on a trailer, well, where's that deck gonna be? Like, it gets convoluted, but we got a solution. So I'm allowed to have a driveway that goes in within 100 feet of the water instead of having a deck, because you cannot have a deck, because that would count as a dwelling attachment, and that would be the only thing I'm ever allowed to build on the property if they gave me a permit for it. So I'd only ever be allowed to have that one deck and never build a house ever again. But I can have a patio. You can have patios out the wazoo. So we're back on track with this. This is the trailer, but it is only like 7 feet across here, and this stuff isn't pressure treated. I don't think I'm gonna leave that on there. This to outside here is 8.5 feet, so we need some wings here. Turns out that Aaron and the Bear Proof team over there, not only do they make turkey calls and they're expert turkey callers and a guide, but they also, the family, did a lot of welding. And they have a whole facility there for welding. We're gonna head over there, see Aaron, and have his family help us. His dad and his uncle are gonna help us cut some wings, weld them onto there, so we can build the platform for the tiny house. All right, so originally, when I thought I had to have a trailer, it would have meant the house was like up here. And if I'm not allowed to have a deck, you know, to get out the door and have to go down on some steps and I'm in my dooryard, right? But we don't have to have the trailer. We'll dig a hole. And now, when the house is around me, here's the front door, it opens up. The windows in front of the sinks open up. I step out the front door and I have all of this area as like an outdoor kitchen, fire pit, hangout area. I can walk over to my sink in front of the windows and swing the faucet around, have a small outside faucet with a little countertop along the front of the house. It'll look pretty sharp. It'll make this whole tiny house much bigger because the outdoors is like a whole nother room. Let's get the excavator down here and dig ourselves an inset driveway. Beautiful. And that's 20.
Yeah, right there.
We're gonna need some lubricant.
After finishing the decking, we went down to the hole that we had dug for the inset driveway. I couldn't have a tiny house without messing up my permittability for my main home that I want to build someday down at the property. Now it's just a matter of making a box frame for it. And I purchased some rebar, we cut that down, and we built this box frame to drive the trailer down into.
Well, that was interesting. The we didn't do that weld. That was not us. That came with the trailer like that. No wonder it broke off. Wow. Well, I hope the rest of the trailer's not welded as poorly as that was. We know our welds aren't. Yikes. That's scary.
Now that she's back down into her permanent home, it's all about the leveling, so we can just build as if we were building on a regular foundation. And unfortunately, there was a little bit of a hiccup here where the trailer had to set down in. It made the grade of the driveway go a little bit too steep. A little bit more cutting to remove the old trailer lift that didn't break off so that the trailer's tongue could sit down low enough. The grade was too steep coming into the spot where she's gonna be, so I had to dig down the tongue of the trailer just a little bit.
3.5. I think we got it. We're at 3.5. Tires are on the ground.
Oh wait, stay back here.
She's a little wibbly. Don't look again. Don't check any. Like just. Accurate. All right. All right, so we're trying to figure out, I was thinking 3 foot by 3 foot for the bathroom, and they're joshing me and saying that's not enough room. But John said airplane bathroom. What do you got?
An airplane bathroom measures 39 3/4.
Airplane bathrooms are getting smaller.
39 3/4 by 24.5?
Yeah.
So that's the narrow part. I knew it was super narrow.
Right.
24.5 is like this. If I'm gonna sit in it this way, this is all you need. Assuming the bathroom that the toilet I pick out, the composting toilet, fits in that space.
Yeah, but look at your shoulders right now.
Dude, I'd go 39 by 39.
So 2 foot's a bit much, but why not 32? Because that's good space. You got room to like do a little jig in here. You can even
Time you put walls up, you won't.
hard. I'm done for the day. That's it. That's a wrap. We did it.
Whitney Houston's favorite type of coordination. Any idea what it is?
No idea.
Hand-eye!
Hand-eye. Oh my goodness.
Hand-eye!
Come on in here. Check this out.
So we got a big window here, and that one will be opening this way from the door. The door is right here, and then over here on this side we'll have another window, and that one will slide open that way.
I'm excited. This is gonna be awesome. Too cool. Yeah, I guess we'll pack it up and come back and start on it again tomorrow. Jackery's at 100%. I bring it home, just charge it. And I have been using the solar panels each day while we're using it. Even though we leave here, it's only at like 87% because we're charging it at the same time. It does seem like with this bigger DeWalt chop saw that when it gets down to like 50% or something like that, the power pack breaker trips. But if the solar panels are hooked into it at the same time, that doesn't happen. Because that surge on that chop saw when it fires up is just the exact amount that this thing can handle with surge for a power tool. So we figured out by hooking up the solar panels, it doesn't kick off and we can keep building, which is really cool. Aaron was even saying that when they do a house job for somebody, they always have to wait for the compressor to stop before they run the chop saw because it trips the breaker. Jackery, no problem.
And it was May 12th. 5 and 7 days.
The windows for the tiny house are really cool, but the trim is built into them, so you can't flash them the way you would a traditional set of trim, which makes the water go off of the trim from the windows and then down the outside sheathing of your house. Since it's board and batten, I'm not having an inner layer of sheathing on the house and then siding. So if water does get behind the windows, it's gonna run down between my board and batten and my insulation on the inside of the house. To fix that, I came up with this tin idea.
Dead on.
When we were figuring this out, I talked to my dad and saw what he thought, and he didn't have this tin idea. I came up with that. And he said, just remember, keep thinking like a raindrop. Keep thinking like a raindrop. I don't know what kind of hippy dippy thing that is, but like.
Just like a bonsai live inside the tree. Ants live inside you.
And I'm right there. I have my counter that comes out, and inside faucet right here can turn, and then there'll be a little wooden panel that pops out of this countertop that runs here, or you're sitting here just kind of like hanging out. Hey, what's going on in there? Oh, hors d'oeuvres, thanks. Yum. Makes the whole outside inside thing like another room for your house, basically. Right there. There, I can get it. Yeah.
You put it in backwards?
Pretty good?
It's pretty good.
All right. Since this isn't supposed to be a window that goes here, goes up. There's springs in it, which is kind of cool that it opens a little bit automatically. Holy cow, it's a little bit of a push. So if you're reaching over the kitchen counter, you gotta be like, ah! There's a little string in here. And there's just, that didn't sound good. Hope I don't hate myself for doing that. Let's see if it clogs up. Hopefully it just, yeah, now it works just fine. There. We didn't need no stinking strings.
There are no strings on me.
The next day or so was just more of the same, lots of little blocking that had to be put in to support the board and batten when we nailed that on, putting the tin around the windows, and then before the excavator guy took his excavator away, all the boulders that had come up from during the digging, we were gonna use those. Got a nice retaining wall built, all blocked off and graveled behind it so it can drain, or stone behind it. Just got some leveling to do with my little tractor. Ryan brought over all the other rocks that came out of the driveway. And we're just saving two very scenic ones, this one and that one up there. And those are gonna be like little cornerstones in the patio area. Picked up this lockbox off of Facebook Marketplace. This is pretty sweet. Now I don't have to run everything home every time, every night, which was kind of a stinker. Wow. That's that chainsaw you were telling me about?
Yep.
That's pretty light. That's lighter than a gas one. That's pretty slick for just limbing things up and doing little You know what, I already, now I want one. Still think I like my bigger gas one, but for limbing, things like that, that's pretty slick. Nice. Hey, that looks pretty slick. Hold on, let me get a picture of it. We're not gonna need this for a while. Let's put it up on top of the other door.
Once all the blocking and futzing was done, we had our little jig that Aaron's dad made to make the trusses, and we thought we'd put one truss up and see how it goes. We got a lot of rain coming, and we were hoping to get the roof on, but it's not looking too good. It took us longer than we thought, mostly because I didn't really have much of a plan. We were just kind of making it up as we go, which always makes things take a little bit longer.
First truss! They're bringing me the rest of my boulders to finish the patio area, so it's all good to go and the water there won't wash away and stuff like that. So I'm excited about this. That one's gonna be hard to move.
I'll do. Now that we're on to installing our board and batten, it's just a matter of cutting and fitting them around the windows. We tried to figure out exactly what would be even as far as placement of them so that the reveal was the same on both sides of the windows and the door. Turned out pretty good so far. It made it take a little longer to get those first couple pieces in, but once we got those done, it was moving right along. We also burned the ends of everything we cut, just like we did the faces of the boards, to protect it from the elements.
You're so tiny down there. I feel like I could reach down and just like pick you up.
Hey, what are you doing? Oh my goodness, this is how are you doing this? I don't understand.
All right, here you go. All right, let's get back to work.
That's so much better.
Oh my God. Oh, look at that. Right, perfect. We need to get that roof on, so I brought in reinforcements. You might remember this guy, Ralph, and Chris. Hello. Chris, obviously, you know who Chris is if you've watched ever at all. But Ralph helped me with the Glamper camper at the end of the project, helped me bust that out and get that on the road. Less talking, more working. We got a lot to do. She's getting down to about 80%. We don't have it hooked up to solar panels yet. It's one thing to say it can run multiple tools at a time, but check this out. That's a lot of power. 3 power tools at once, 2 major power tools, the chop saw. I'd say power tools, totally awesome. Roof is almost all the way on. We're just short a couple screws. So that's a pretty good day. Let's wrap it up. I'll jump down and we'll pack everything up for the night.
That looks like it hurt.
All our rough speculations are done and we've got the roof up there.
We're gonna be close to 7 feet, 6.5 feet at least.
All right, so once I get my beam in here, it's gonna be just a little higher than this. And then we'll be able to be in the loft and it's about 6.5 feet to the peak, which will be so nice. Plenty of room to do a little dance up there. We weren't wrong so far. Yeehaw. All right, so we got our little end walls to build on the cupola top and then the eave ladders. We're gonna have to actually move the plywood. Chris is nailing all that framing together. And I'm gonna get on cutting out the materials so we can finish up our roof here and put plywood on. Picked up a new saw. I was getting sick of cutting on the other side and I thought, hey, we got the power pack to charge battery packs. It makes things easier, cords, not having to deal with cords. So I picked up this Flex worm drive one. Something so I got some more power. Holy cow, that makes my old saw seem like a piece of junk. The guard doesn't flip back down, it doesn't stay out of the way. It pinches when you go into a board, and you always have to cut looking over it. I'm always like cutting and looking over it like this. And now it's just like so much nicer having the right hand side ability to look in on that. So nice. It's all closed in now, minus little framing on the end, but kind of gives me a feel of like how much light is in here. Chris is dropping, is dropping nails on John.
There was nails on my shoulder.
I'm sorry.
But I think with the solar panels and the Jackery power pack in here, we could have a little bit of ambient daylight, low added light, as well as we got all that beautiful light from those little cupola windows up there. It's pretty sweet. So I think we're pretty much calling it a wrap for today. A couple more nails to nail it off, and because we want to have a fish off with Ralph so you can catch the most fish. We got distracted. We went and bought a dock on Facebook Marketplace.
And after some dickering and realizing the 1234 was just a placeholder, I managed to talk her down to $2,000 for this giant pressure-treated dock. Now the only problem is getting it down to the water. We didn't want to carry it, so we decided to try to back it down in.
You're in a hole.
As you can see, I've already been busy and doing some weeding, and now the dock can get out in here, but I still want to weed a big section here and here, which means more diving in here. The girls are super afraid of leeches.
Swamp leeches, everybody! Check for swamp leeches and pull them off. Nobody else got hit? I'm the only one? What's the deal?
And I dove around through all of this and cut the weeds down, and hauled them out of here and up into the woods. So far, no leeches. There is a bit of milfoil. I've only seen like 1 or 2 little pieces of it.
Of course, that's what I thought until I saw the footage, and now I see that it's kind of everywhere, and it had just started to grow up for the season when we had filmed this one clip. There's so much going on down below the water, you never notice it until you really get down in there. This one here I believe is European frogbit, another invasive. I really like to learn what I could do better to help this lake and to improve the water quality. I don't know if it's possible that one person could make a huge difference, but I'd really love to find out.
There we go, extended battery pack hooked up. Ooh, and she's at 100%. 94 watts and 19 hours. That'll keep us busy enough for today for power. We got all kinds of different pieces of hardware that came with this whole setup. And then we'll be able to draw from our stock of parts and pieces, I think.
Open a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Nothing too bad.
I put the super skin on it. Sticking, or is your hand too wet?
No, it's sticking perfect.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
There you go.
Useful.
Good as new.
Thank you, sir.
Try to hit the stuff, not your finger next time.
I'll try harder.
Yeah.
Now that we have it down here, we're rearranging all the mounts so it makes 3 walking pieces that takes you out to a big 16 by 12 platform that the boat can be mounted to, and we could build a little catch and cook kitchen on.
Carry it. Ready? Got it?
Yeah.
All right, then we'll pick up our pole and put it through these. Right here. That's it. Hey, there we go.
Chris and I dove down and cut the weeds off flush at the bottom for about 2.5 hours to create the opening we needed for the bigger piece of the dock. It rained the entire time and we got so cold by the time we were done, but when it was finished, it was a clean space.
We got one more bolt to put in, so we got to go going under. Been in here so long, we're all turning kind of wrinkly, and I'm getting cold. I don't want to go all the way under. Here we go.
Bad time to use this hole for a pee hole.
All right.
Gotta pay the toll to get on that.
Yeah, the troll under the bridge.
He's not a troll. He's endearing and quirky.
I feel kind of like an art, yeah, Navy SEAL. Like I'm sneaking up on somebody. I'm like in the water and I'm nothing but my eyes poking out.
Do that with a slingshot in the weeds.
All right, wrench. I probably look like a drowned rat. Ooh, that is murky down there. You can't see anything. All right, we got it. I just got to cut that off, and then we can stylize it. There's all kinds of big dreams for this, with deck box with the fishing rods, solar panels, and the Jackery in it. you know, put some chairs and the solo stove out here and be able to cook and hang out and
just
jump off the end.
Chop this down, just put a nice round table right here.
We gotta do a jump, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do it.
We got to do a jump after all that work. You're not gonna do a jump off the dock? New poles are in. Now I can build my table. You got all your safety gear on. There we go. We're all ready. I haven't cut anything down with this one yet. We'll see. Here it goes. That really gets your heart going. That was a big one. So, lesson. The technical, I think, is supposed to be right here. I should have come into my wedge. I should have been like right there, coming into my wedge. But the hinge worked. It's straight across. This part here was hinged. This was a little bit messy. It should have been a perfect angle. And that meant it hinged on this piece of wood, kept it going right where I wanted to go, and then it fell, snapped off, and fell, and it went right where I wanted it to go, between these trees here. Now we got a mill piece. And I was thinking, since we have it on the hill, maybe we can mill it right here on the hill so that it takes the gravity and rolls downhill with the cut. Looks to be a nice piece of wood. I don't see a lot of rot. Should make some nice planks. I should have got those wedges years ago. If I had a wedge for every time I've cut something and tried to cut up and then down and it pinched, I'd have 1,000,000 wedges. And all I needed is 3 from the beginning. Oh, we messed somebody's home up here. Gonna have to move out, buddy. Let's see what kind of worm it is. That is an 1.5-inch worm, not just an inch worm. There. I hesitated to buy one of these for years, thinking it was kind of a gimmick and it was silly and that it would take too much work, and I didn't know what saw blade to match up with what bar and all that stuff. And in the end, after a little bit of research, it seems pretty straightforward, and I did my first ripping on those boards out there and it turned out pretty darn good. There we go. All right. Phew. We'll go with a 4-inch cut without hitting the screws, except for that one's a little longer, so 4 1/4. We'll set this thing up to mill at 4 1/4. You hit the screw once while you're milling and your blade is toast until you sharpen it up, and then it's just a stinker. You got to start all over, so you got to be 100% accurate with that. 4 1/2. Better to be safe than sharpening. All right. Check and make sure it's clear the whole way down. Are we gonna clear? Yep, we're gonna clear. That was sweet. That was so sweet. Just put it on there and let it right down to the other end. Now we got to adjust it to be, I don't know, 2 1/4, and then run it again to create our planks for our tabletop. That was a bad idea. I got greedy. All that exhaust from the chainsaw is ruining the experience. Maybe a respirator, and maybe even hooking up the leaf blower to this thing so it's like blowing, you know, blowing across the exhaust and blowing it away from you. Mostly safety today, and a little bit more the next time. That's our new motto. Let's go build something. Keep it simple. Just 80 grit it for now. Let's build an awning. Set the pole at 18 inches. Wow, that was satisfying. I screwed up a little bit. I don't know what they say an apprentice measures once and cuts twice, and a master carpenter measures twice and cuts once, but only a fool tries to cut it with his pencil. Today I'm playing the fool. I measured once, cut once, and cut once wrong. Now she's 8 inches shorter, 6 inches shorter here than I wanted it to be. Bought some of these things for metal roofing. They got a little rubber gasket on it, a little self-tapping, and a little hex head. Boom, just a little detailed up. Whew, just long enough, if that. I'm not even sure if it is long enough. There we go. That's better. There we go. Last screw. There we go.
Being down here on the water all the time since we bought the property and seeing bats again for the first time in a long time, loons and hearing their lonely call to each other as they move around and fish, and seeing the microscopic life as I lay there on the side of the dock and look over into the water and all that's going on, and so many spiders. Maybe I just never paid attention to how many spiders there are in the world until I just started taking some time and looking closer at the small things around me that are happening. The flowers and the bugs that are living on the flowers, the snails and their mating dance here, and more spiders. Just so many spiders, and just the insects and their relationship to the plants, and that relationship in turn to those of the fish and all that's going on underneath the water. How beautiful every little thing is, and how unique each of these things and operating in concert with each other has just ignited this childlike interest in me again for learning and experiencing all that is going on out there in God's creation. And every time I slow down and take the time to just wait and watch, something magical happens. And I feel the stress stripped away from me as I observe the beauty of the creation and the intelligence of the designer who created such amazing things.
Okay, so there's a certain way they go in. See how one's bigger than the other?
Yeah. Still not turning on.
Look behind you.
Oh.
Don't eat all the shrimp without me. You're allowed half. I want the other half. I want some of their dinner. All right, we're set up. We got our rice cooker, the Jackery power pack to do our lights, our new little awnings up, our solar lights are all up. We got Sparrow. But right now, we got to get in the water. We're gonna go catch some dinner.
Why am I acting weird? I'm just acting normal, Sparrow. No.
Oh, look at how beautiful our little dock is.
I'm scared anymore.
This little shed is made by a company in Canada called Bunky Life. They sent us this outhouse / shed along with a wood-fired hot tub and a beautiful tiny house I'm making into an office for my employees. After finding a spot that was a legal distance from the lake, I flattened out a small area and put down some driveway fabric, and then we brought down some of the extra gravel after we had top dressed the driveway. I had already rented a mini skid steer to top dress the driveway, and so I just drove down some of that extra material to make this nice and flat. The Bunky cabins are a kit thing, so they come in a big bundle, and then you basically just get out the instructions and set them up just like you would any other set of Legos or Lincoln Logs. The only thing they don't come with is the initial base. You have to decide if you're going to put it on a slab or build your own wooden frame for it. But once that's done, the assembly goes really quickly and you don't even need a second set of hands. As long as you don't get distracted, you could put something like this together in a day.
Now the bathroom is all set to go. The composting toilet, unfortunately, is not doing a great job. So it has pellets that are in there that are coconut husk that you swell up, and I guess I should have dried them more before I put them in here, because right now you can't spin it, so you can't turn them in. I think I might have to build a winter composting toilet that you just sprinkle stuff on top of. I'm gonna mill up another piece of wood with my chainsaw mill, build my little workbench, hang up a couple tools. That way, if I need to sharpen my chainsaw, I have a place to go where I know my files are, things like that, and I can store, you know, a couple tools underneath and a couple tools on top, keep things organized. It'll be a multi-use little storage shed / bathroom house. I am so happy with this. We gotta get the tarps off. We gotta get a roof on her. We got a metal roofing company coming because after the Bunky, I did a horrible job on my metal roofing, and it's not leaking, it's solid, but the trim work of the metal roofing I didn't do a good job on. And I want this to look nice.
We have a lot to do before the metal roofers can get here and do their job. We need to install some fascia boards so the drip edge and all that stuff can go on. So Joe's working on the fascia boards and Noah's uncovering the cupola because we got a lot of work to do there as well. We didn't finish the ladders for it, so the ends need to be buttoned up. We're still going to do the burnt Sugibon boards on the cupola, but to flash it properly and make it so that it's a little bit more watertight and insulated really well, we're actually going to plywood the thing first so that the metal roofing's flashing can go to that, and then over top of that, the boarding boards. When I'm done, I want to be able to light a candle to heat the place, and because it's only 2x4 thick walls, I'm going to go with spray foam. But before we can do that, we got to install all the electrical, and despite not having all the right tools for the job, we managed pretty quickly to put all the wires into the walls so they can get spray foamed into place.
Alright, it is cold today. Temperatures are dropping back down, but we got the roofers coming from Home Roofing. Morning!
How are you, bud?
Good! So there it is right there. So if you're like me and you don't want to learn a whole new trade and have a nice metal roof, we're gonna get one. You could get one too. Give them a call or shoot them an email. These guys were so nice to be able to come and do it right quick.
How are you?
Good morning.
Keith, nice to meet you.
Yes,
sir.
bud? Oh, I'm psyched.
Yeah, we'll get it set up and we're ready to rock and roll. And
yeah. All right, they're getting the last of the ice and water shield up.
so Carlos will tell me what size he needs.
Yeah, and you spit it out for him.
Yeah. Okay, grab these shears. You really got to throw your weight into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's the product there.
Wow.
So
all trim. Oh, it even rolls it up underneath.
It does. It does.
Oh my goodness.
That's part of that snap lock feature that we talked about.
So you can see.
And this allows it to sit in there.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what's up there on the top.
And on the back side, your screws are what fasten the panel.
And it's which goes through this.
Correct.
And the panel that's tucked up underneath.
Everything's fastened on the back side. Keeps everything protected. So.
The big machine you just saw only makes the giant panels of metal roofing. When it comes to the drip edge, the capture piece of the top of the metal roofing, the cap on the top of the metal roofing, and any flashing, all of that is done by Carlos and his team here. Each piece is custom measured for length, and then bent, folded, trimmed, cut, and shaped to fit the needs of the project, all made out of that same colored metal. Next step is putting on the drip edge, but the drip edge needs to go out over the fascia boards and trim that goes around the tiny house. To solve that, we screwed on a bunch of temporary blocks so the drip edge could go on now and the fascia boards could go on later. After that, the roof goes on extremely quickly. A piece of metal roofing is brought up, slid into place, screwed down at the top edge, snapped down onto the previous piece, a couple snips and some folds around the bottom edge by this custom tool that Carlos made. Then a couple clips with screws are added down the edge of the metal roofing before the next one is snapped on over top of that.
So I still got a lot of electrical to do. What I'm doing right now is putting these plates on that protect the wires where they run through. So while I'm putting on my boards, if I hit one of these, at least the nail shouldn't punch through. Uh-oh. Doesn't fit. I wanted to put 3 switches right here. Geez, I'd have to cut a lot of that away. If I went vertical. 1, 2, 3. I think that's what we're doing. I'll go vertical. Nice. There it is. There's the click. There's the final piece. I mean, they still got the ridge piece right there. Right there to pop on. And then the other guy is down here. They're slapping one on to the tiny, we're calling it the Poopy workshop, I guess, because it's a outhouse / little workshop because the potty is in there. It's also a changing room for when we're down here at the lake. Done.
Yep.
Finished. All right, we did it. They did that and all of that in one day. That is insane. That's so much. So much. Thank you.
Good job.
It took them till just after dark to finish packing up and cleaning up, and I do mean they cleaned up. Like, they cleaned up every little scrap of snipped metal, everything. It was spotless by the time they left. Thank you guys so much once again. Joe and I came back the next day, and it was like 14 degrees out. It was super cold, but we wanted to finish buttoning it up completely and finishing the wiring before I headed out for my Florida adventure. Once the eaves were all sealed up so I could spray foam, I added a couple outlets to the outside and then a little bit more wiring to the inside for the lighting, and then we were done with that step. All right, well, Joe, he put some nailers up here. This is the way we did it. Now that we can nail our boards across to there and nail our, because I'm gonna go with vertical, what is it, wainscoting, Joe, or what's it called?
I think it's wainscot, I don't know.
Whatever, something like it. Anyway, boards that lock together and they're like only like 3/8. All right, I was wrong. Wainscot is like a half wall. What I'm actually looking to do is this lower half of the wall, but all the way up.
And squirrel! This is one of the things I fell in love with the first time I saw it on the property is like, hey, the stream is unregulated. It's a runoff. And it comes out up there above the hill. We'll take this 1.5-inch tubing I have and run it down through the woods, and it's gonna come to the hot tub right there, which I'm gonna put right here. I was thinking of putting it like here, but it splits up there. So during low water time, when just before it dries up, I might lose it sooner than later. I want it to last as long as I can. It looks like I'm at least 10 feet higher. Maybe more. The higher up, the more pressure on the flow, I guess, something like that. It's been a long time since I started water wheel stuff, but I've always wanted to do one. And if I can make more power out of it at the other end, that's pretty cool. Maybe it could even power the tiny house for, you know, 3/4 or half the year when the water is really flowing. So from right here, which I'm standing like sighting through it, I'm like 3 feet above where I want to make the dam. It looks like the tiny house would have water right to the sink. And when it comes to looking over towards the hot tub, I'm seeing branches, and then I take this away from my eye and I look from that branch down to the hot tub, and it looks to be like 12 feet or so of drop. And that would mean that it's 16 to 18 feet of drop to the water wheel. That's pretty good.
Coming through underneath, but it's a good 3 inches higher, and it's already halfway up the pipe. So
we got water! Oh. Whoa, look at that flow. $16 minutes. That's not bad. Man, that water comes out fast. 16 minutes is pretty good, right? I have an infinity hot tub. An infinity hot. Look at that. How cool is this? Now, let's get it going and just see how long it takes for this thing to get it all hot. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's so warm. I got a little view out over the lake. The water wheel's making that beautiful watery sound. I got my chicken and I love broccoli. That's a good one. Let's try our chicken. Well, actually, it's super done, so I could probably just pull the leg off. Just soaking in my hot tub. Eating chicken. Oh, this is amazing. This chicken is amazing. Try a piece of this crispy fire cooked skin here. See if the whole chicken is as juicy as that. Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that little piece of skin and some chicken? There is nothing quite like a chicken cooked over the fire, huh? Every time I've ever done this is like the best thing ever. Over the last week, we just kind of sped through more finishing up the trim on the outside around the windows, the burnt Sugibon boards around the cupola on the top, got the windows in, and the rest of the trim around the outside. I did a whole bunch of work myself, putting the dock in and other things like that.
It was no easy task uncovering and lugging the docks down after their winter hibernation and squeezing into the wetsuit after my winter hibernation. On top of all that, it was a used dock that I had purchased last year and it needed some repairs. So I had to go up to the top of the hill and find some pieces of wood off the other pieces of the dock that we purchased and didn't end up using and replace some of the boards to ensure, well, sliverless enjoyment to our time on the dock. The first year we leveled this all by hand. This year we got this little drill powered winch and man, this makes it so easy.
Crank it. Good.
This is one of my favorite features to the lake property. Having this little outdoor kitchen area allows us to just spend tons of time right on the water. But we don't have time to enjoy it now. We got to get back to work on the tiny house so the guys can do their part. That means spray foaming the interior. I went with spray foam over fiberglass batting because the outer walls being board and batten, there's a lot of little air gaps and that would allow moisture to build up on the back side of the fiberglass batting. And when the walls are only 2x4 thick, and I wanted as high of an R value as possible, but on the ceiling where it was a bit thicker, after 3 inches of spray foam, we topped off the rest of the cavities with fiberglass batting, and then Joe and Eric were able to start putting on
the, what's it called, Joe? Wainscoting? Wainscot. Wainscot? Wainscot, like a cot, like a bed cot? That's weird. I thought it was coating.
The reason you call it wainscoting instead of coating is because it's for rich people, and the best thing they love to do is correct everybody. It's not wainscot, it's wainscoat.
But now you can see we have some spaces here that are empty, and here, and I'm gonna sawmill a piece with my chainsaw mill that goes in there so it looks like there's a big log beam in there. It looks really good. And then I gotta cut the parts for the loft. So that's my job while they finish trimming out the windows. That's what they're working on out there. And they've been trimming out all these frames for those, and those get slapped in. We got cabinets going in, and then a sink, and trim work. And we have our panel to go in for our electronics for our power pack that's gonna power the place, because our sponsor for today's video is Jackery Power Packs. I think the $3,000 to build the first part of this project, and then they launched $2,000, and it's got an extended battery pack. And because we have so many people working, I brought both of them down so that way we don't have any hindrances. I've been filling up the power packs by bringing them home every 2 days, and they will run the entire job site with the air compressor, chop saw, table saw, battery charging, lights, and we even have a big fan in here because it's almost summertime. It's the beginning of summer, about to be summer, and it gets warm as heck in here. And as soon as we move in, I'm gonna put my first piece of art on the wall. I've been doing this thing, well, I've done one thing so far. Gyotaku. It's a Japanese art method. I'm really excited about it. I've done one for a young man who caught a fish on the dock when we were installing the dock.
Oh, holy crap! Get that in there. That is a monster.
monster.
Zach, you caught a monster bass! And made a beautiful Gyotaku painting for him of his fish catch for him to take home with him. And we flayed up the fish and he took that home to cook too. So let's get the chainsaws out and get on that while they finish up the window trims and all the other trims before they end up waiting on me too much. That looks awesome. Ooh, I can't wait to go try it in the spot. My measurements paid off and Joe and Eric lagged it into place, and I could already tell it was going to look better than I even imagined in my head.
That's the power of a tape measure.
Woohoo!
We even managed to recruit Eric's girlfriend Katrina for the day, and she worked on wiring while everybody else was working on the floorboards. Joe had talked me into this plastic flooring from Lowe's, which went together extremely quickly. It just clicks together, and it takes very little to cut it when you got the little jig for it that Eric had brought over. And then we got to a step I've been looking forward to for a long time.
Finally get a chance to use all those ready-to-eat meals that I got. They all came with insulation in the box because they came frozen. And these two spots to insulate the wheel wells so they're not leaking in cold. And this all is going to be spray foamed underneath of here. I wish I had done that before I started, but oh well. So this will protect us from this cold metal becoming a cold radiator. There we go. Ready for cabinets. Now we gotta get back to milling.
I started lugging the next few logs for the beams as Joe assembled the kitchen cabinets. I got a nice butcher block for the cabinet tops, and this is the step that really makes a tiny house feel like a tiny house. It's weird how the relatively small details like molding and trim can so quickly transform a space from a construction site into somewhere you can see yourself living in. Moments like this that boost your morale when it seems like the finish line is so far away is so important. Fortunately or unfortunately, as life is wont to do, when you set yourself such high goals, you're bound to find a new challenge around every corner.
We did it. 1 down. 3 to go.
Didn't cut all the way through, so we're gonna finish it with the Sawzall. There we go. Look at that. Look at that fit. Oh.
You'd almost think we knew what we were doing.
All right, loft. Time to get lofty with it.
Joe's wiring up the box. We got the box that Jackery sent. And this gives us a generator, which is to our Jackery power pack. And then we have, you got your breaker, and then you can also hook it to line. In this case, line someday is going to be maybe a generator for outside, like a gas-powered one. So if we don't manage to get enough solar gain during the rainstorm for a week or something like that, we could always power everything up with the generator, run a little gas generator. I got a couple of them that I haven't used in years because I've been using the Jackery power packs for everything and I haven't had to. Still, everything we're doing has been off the power pack, running the power packs, running some lighting in here, off of the other power pack, running the their 3000 out there. And we have to run 2 of them, like I said before, because we've got so many people working at it. We're running enough tools that we burn through them in 2 days, but
some of us are working a little harder than others.
Some of us are working harder than others, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. He's getting his stuff done.
Yeah.
Doing good, boys.
Despite Joe's sass, he made really quick work of wiring up that Jackery switcher, and I was even working over top of him trying to measure and fit that first beam for the back of the loft.
If we could figure out where it is. Hey,
I need that.
No, you don't.
I don't?
No, I don't think so.
Why don't I need that?
The power works.
Oh, you got the outlets going? Instead of putting the outlets in, you just went for the
It's booby traps. Wanted to see if you were paying attention. So this is powering from the Jackery.
Yeah.
So this whole run works. And then once I wire up everything else, looks like the
all we have to do is flip the breakers on.
Yeah, and then turn that off, and yeah, it's off. And then if we were to switch to your generator for outside, we just switch it to line, but switch it to that, Jackery powered.
Nice.
I got back to chiseling the beams as the boys installed the center faux beam and lagged that up into place and ran the wire through the beam so that we could install the fan later.
I'm gonna get one of these on the second. I'm excited about that. We can flip this whole circuit. There we go.
Bam!
Bam!
Got it!
All of the words. It's from 1953.
Pretty nice.
Now that the Jackery was fully tied in, all the outlets were live, it made it so much easier to charge batteries and less cords underfoot when we needed to move lighting and things like that around.
All right.
Hey,
We got outside lights.
hooray!
They're
Electric.
they're backwards.
What? No, they're
I'm just
adjustable.
kidding, I'm
They're
just kidding.
adjustable. You can put it on whatever way you want, right? Get it figured out.
Don't you set my goal on the ground.
That's pretty good. And then we could refit it and stuff.
When you're inside the tiny house, it's hard to remember the whole thing is built on a trailer. When you're outside, there's a pretty glaring reminder. So I had Nate and Eric work up a plan to build a removable porch out of the old dock planks to cover up the hitch of the trailer. This will both complete the illusion of a regular tiny house on a regular foundation and give me some extra room and make it easier to walk around the house without down and over the trailer hitch, as well as give me somewhere to put some beautiful flowers or something. With the final cross beams now cut to length, I had the stressful job of cutting them into the wall beams, and since the logs themselves were all different measurements, it was going to take some serious finagling to get this right.
So this is going to be an interesting one. It's got a notch. That's where our floor beams are going to go into. So it'll give us a nice round front, and hopefully I didn't screw it up. Trace it on the wall so you have a...
I'm gonna go like this.
After using the compass to scribe out where the log would go, I used the vibro blade instead of the chisel to get the larger amount of the material out. Unfortunately, I made a big mistake.
Darn! That looks like crap.
I couldn't abide such a gap. This was my Dick Prenicky moment, where my cabin came together perfectly, so I chiseled away more material in hopes that I could remedy this in some fashion.
Ah. That just kills me. Look at that. Biffed it. Big time. We switched logs. It was supposed to be scribed for this one. This side was starting to fit really good. But I think when I went to the other side, I didn't adjust my compass. Like, cause this side was fatter, so I actually scribed it for a, you know, or that side was fatter, and I ended up scribing it way down, and Joe cut, even still cutting back a 1/4 inch from the line. I said we'd ooch in on it. So we switched from this log was supposed to be there to putting it here. I biffed it big. So now we got this big grin. Like, look at the back over there. Perfectly fit. And now we got that and this. It's like, that's as good as it's gonna get. Unless I cut whole new logs for the project.
I'm just realizing as I get a glimpse of Avery here in the background puttying all our nail holes, this beautiful paint job that you're gonna see when it's finished in a few minutes, that's due to Avery's master craftsmanship level painting that he did on the place.
Man, that was my dream fit right there. Still Can you would you look at that? Look at that. That right there. Look at that. Boom. You couldn't even fit a piece of paper. Where's the piece of paper? Who's got a piece of paper? Here's a business card. Not a good example. But look at that. Can't even get a business card in there. Don't look at this side. Okay, the business card does, there's one little teeny weeny spot, but only enough for a business card to fit in. Oh, 2 times in a row. See, it's not that I can't do it. That's the hardest part. I'm living with that one over there. Because I so easily did it. Oh, pretty happy with that.
Joe was working on mounting the ceiling fan, and he had to grind it to fit to the ceiling beam.
Oh man. I'm almost got it just like by eyeing it.
After that, he had to bore a hole down the middle of one of our loft beams because where the wires landed so that the lights could come out over top of the counter. Then it was time for the floorboards themselves, the final touch of the construction side of this.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
There you go, Joe. I need that.
So, what are we doing? Just ones in the middle?
Yeah. Let's look right there, bam. All right, it is finished. Whew. It's actually been like a week since we finished the loft up there, and then I just been tuning things up, and I have done so much work, and we spent, the girls and I, 4 nights now. So let me give you the tour. All right, so right at the bottom here, this used to be a big wood pile, had the big yellow work bin, and I've taken the tractor down here, peeled the plastic that was here before, the ground cloth material back, and put new gravel down, built a table, put a nice stone in over here. We got the little twinkly lights and a little solo stove for ambiance,
and the table to hang out. The girls and I have spent about 4 nights down here so far, and last night was our night when it was most finished, so we enjoyed sitting in front of this with like the little fire going and doing marshmallows, and they just had a good time. They love their marshmallows, and I love my little cheddar wurst that I had over that cooking that. Oh, it's so much better than a marshmallow.
How dare you, marshmallows are better.
And I brought down the solo stove, a bigger one, and the big old whiskey barrel, the Z-grill. Now I have my little patio area. I could plug that into the house right here. And what you saw me finishing there was my gray water system. Because this is a tiny house, this is completely self-contained now. This is my Hosta's gray water system, and it's all fed by the water tower right there, which I just basically built out of pallets. Dug a flat spot for it, put the ICB tank up there, and got a hose that runs in the house. You'll see in a sec, it doesn't have a lot of water pressure, but that's perfect because it'll go into here. The Hostas can handle the lower amount of shade in this area. Right now it's self-contained, and once that's done, it'll be completely self-contained with the grease trap and everything. No building permitted a gray water system here. No building permitted building. This is all on a trailer. All of it could be, you know, boxed up and taken somewhere else where I desire us to, but of course not, because we just finished. This is so epic. Like, I'll flip on that's an outside light, inside lights, right there. Oh, there it is in all her glory. Our beautiful loft. The fan is going. We got the little windows open. Let's see, what to show you first. Well, we're talking about the water. Let's follow through with that. We got our nice countertop, our butcher's block countertop that Joe and the boys installed. And I saw these when we went to, Sparrow and I went to Home Goods, and I was like, that's so cute. That goes so well. Like, it's a little bowling thing. So if we're in here on a rainy day, we could put them down here on the floor and you know, play a little bit of in-home bowling. And the sink, it now works. I even have hot water. So we got very low pressure. Like, very, very, very low pressure. That's a regular faucet run. That's what we got. And that's why I run it on this. And we even have hot water down here. But since I didn't plan for it, I just picked that up on Amazon, put it in there. It's all installed, so I have hot and cold water. But because I didn't plan for it, I have to run a cord out of here and plug it into the outlet right there. I'll figure out a new outlet or wire up another outlet for that, like later this next week or something like that. And then over here on this side of the room, we have our Jackery stuff here. We got the panel that it's all connected to. And then down below, I picked up this at Bob's Discount Furniture when I picked up our couch. And it's just a nice little thing here, and it's got room for the Jackery on the back side, hidden all back behind there. And she's all charged up from our solar right now, 100% from today, because I just turned on everything now. And it's got a little space, just enough for one stool, so one of the littles can fit sitting up to the table here. And then on this side of the room, I'm loving this space. Turned out so good. The girls and I watched a movie last night. We had a little projector set up. Watched The Rescuers Down Under. Then we got our projector and couch area. That was the Bob's couch that I got. I got a different one first and then swapped it for this one when that was able to come in. And I like the little L thing. I've always loved those, so you can just kind of recline and I can have my Bible time in the morning, do a little reading on a rainy day while I'm in here.
Dear Diary, I'm so happy this is done. Now I can rest and relax and just enjoy it for a little while and not even think about another project like the airship. The airship. I wonder what that would take to make a pirate ship with a float, so I could float and I could go from lake to lake and do like a 7-day survival challenge flying from lake to lake on my airship. Maybe like half helium, half hydrogen, half hot air balloon. Hot air balloons and hydrogen don't really mix well. Maybe there's... Maybe there's something else out there. Maybe half drone, half hydrogen. Oh, Butter! What did you do? Ah, no, get off of me, you stinker! You rotten little stinker! Ah, you just ruined this whole tiny house with that. Farts. And then up around here is the loft, and the beams turned out so amazing. I'm so happy with those. And I had the hardest time though picking out a ladder. Like, we had the ladder coming down here, a different ladder, and then I finally found this orchard ladder, and it's super light. It works much better going this way and then up into the loft than it does like originally, like over this way. So when we straighten up the ladder, it opens up the entire space. You can go all the way across without anything in the middle of the room. You have one big space, and then at nighttime you can just pull it out a little bit. Let's go upstairs. Oh no, I don't think I made the bed yet. No, we didn't make the bed. I meant to make the bed. All right, make the bed. There it is. It's all made. It ended up being a little big for the space. Oh, check this out. This is the projector screen, so that can pull down right there. That's what we were watching on last night. But I also have hooks, and the way that thing moves, I can put it right here. So if I'm all by myself, I could lay out and be as lazy as possible and just enjoy it. Except for one thing, signal stinks. So I got a Wii Boost, and that thing with that and the cell phone booster, which is out there 20 feet up the tree, now I have cell phone signal in here. So all of this is like the culmination of so many of my creative ideas over the years, things that I used to do when I lived in a yurt in the woods. And now, thanks to Jackery, we were able to build it here without having power from the town and having to spend a bunch of money on an install. And I don't even know if you could have an install for power for a tiny house that's on a trailer, you know? And it's built down in here. Like, it's flat, just like I wanted to, out onto my patio area here. And got a nice little rosemary. So that's it in a nutshell. We did it. It took a year because of some time off from working on it here and there, and now it's done, and let's enjoy it. I'm gonna go grab my fishing poles. We'll head out, catch the first fish, and do the first fish cook here, and just, you know, enjoy it, right? Let's go out and catch a fish. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh, it's that perfect time of night too. It's time for the dragon craws. Silly. There we go. Nice little dragon craw. That is first cast. First cast with the drag. Oh, there we go. Whoa, my goodness, he almost jumped into the boat. Whoa. Oh, it's a big smallie. Ah, look at that. That's a beautiful fish. That's a beautiful fish. Look at that. Isn't it just a pound? But man, he is a bitey. Oh, first cast on the dragon craw. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Beautiful. He deserves a release. Awesome. Just awesome. Let's see what else we can get up to. How many can we catch? Nice top water bite. perfect night, cooling off just right, and let's see. Nice little drop. Fish on. Yes. Oh, what we got? Chain pickerel. Ah, it's a little one. Hey, hey, chill out. Chill. Now that I will feel much better about eating. There's not a lot on there, but that'll make enough to go with my steak and everything else, and that'll make a really sweet fish painting. If I had kept it. Oh, spent too much time talking about it. I should have been giving it the dispatch. Okay. Well, I was gonna use them for food and then lobster bait. I guess not. Ah, little guy. There we go. Beautiful little small, but pretty small. See ya. Let's see if anything's hiding under the SS Abigail. Nope, nothing's hiding under there. Or at least nothing's biting. Oh, I might have missed the majority of the bite. I thought I was coming out at prime time. I might have come out in the last 20 minutes of prime time. Caught a couple fish. Accidentally let one go, let two go on purpose. I might just be eating the steak and asparagus and things I brought with me. I'll definitely have to head out first thing in the morning and see if I can't catch something for that piece of art. How beautiful is that? Look at that, coming up the hill. Got our little bunky bathroom and workshop, and then little twinkling lights. They look so cool. Like there's a little fire going in each of them. Oh, I am just so tickled. The glowing lights from my little tiny place. Oh, yeah. Yeehaw! This is just too cool. First, we want to go out and turn on the grill. Got our outside light and our outside outlet. Oh, we got power. Ha-ha! And one insanely large beet. Let's go put this all on the grill. Whoopsie daisy, that's not good. That's supposed to be a hard plastic grill brush. That's nasty. Could just take that one off for tonight. And clean that up. Throw our probe in this one. Let's see what temperature. Oh, 147. Ah! Well, that was on the thinner piece, so that's done quick. Doesn't that just look delicious? What do you think, Butter? You want some steak? Alright. There you go. We didn't say grace. She's trying to wolf it all down as fast as she can so she can come over and beg me for some of mine. Lord, thank you for this food. Thank you for this day and for just the opportunities to spend in your outdoors, the fish, the friends that helped build this, the sponsors, that Jackery that provided the power, just thank you, Lord, for lining all this up and making it happen, and pray all this in your precious name. Amen. Woohoo! Alright, let's see if the beets isn't actually a thing. It's got a very smoky flavor. I like it. It turned out perfect though.
Whoop. Drip. And we even, in the first night that we stayed in here, I just tucked the girls in and I laid back on the couch. I was about to tuck myself in, and Butter was asleep on me, and I was gonna put her into her kennel. And all of a sudden I see the fox appear at the door and just like looking, like, hey, what's up? And I tried to get a photo, but I didn't want Butter to wake up and realize what I was doing, because then she'd be able to, like, she would have been freaking out. All right, we'll see you in the morning.
Inside is a pie, onions, leeks, fresh onions, and herbs. A lot of herbs.
You spoke my name and life began. Breath filled dust and sand. Felt you in the cool of the night.
It's alive! Alright, go ahead.
Saw you in the newly made sky. And you were mine. Take me back to the garden where it all began. Take me back to the garden. We were walking hand in hand. My eyes were filled with wonder. My heart was filled with peace. Lost in the mystery. It's all that I could see. Take me back to the garden and walk with me.
Made in your perfect design, pure in heart and mind.
Take me back to the garden.
There we go.
With me.
That's a nice fish. That's a nice fish. Nice chain pickerel. All right. A cool chain pickerel for the walls of the tiny house. Toothy little guy. Look at those teeth. Whole rows and rows of them. I'll do reed so it can end up lighter. Pretty awesome. All right, now we gotta stamp them and we're done. Psalm 91, 3 through 4. And then it says fishing in Japanese and Fowler at the bottom. And the verse is, beware of the snare of the fowler. Kind of a joke. Ta-da! That turned out pretty good. Come on. Come on. In. Good girl. Come on. Oh, I could put some little LEDs behind it. Wouldn't that be sharp? All right, let's hang them. That looks so good.
little piece of art from each of my daughters. That's the Abby and her little SpongeBob carving that she did, and then it turned into a stamp and ostrich from Sparrow. How cool is that? That turned out so amazing.
We are done with the tiny house. Still lots for me to do around here, lots of creative things I want to do and tune up and build, and like a backwoods workout area, so I don't have to use the weights at home, so I can work out down here, and a pull-up bar and the 100 out in the woods, and yeah, all kinds of neat things I'm gonna do. Once again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, Jackery, linked in the description below if you want to power your tiny house build, or if you just want to power your actual house during a storm, a power outage, things like that, then Jackery's got your back. Check them out, link below. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Fowler out. The thing is
I just broke 3 bones in my hand. I can't move.
Well, that's exactly what I mean.